Welcome back to Ask the Imam Show. This is Gary Payne. We'd like to kind of pick up and go a little bit further about Judgment Day, if that's okay, Imam Musri. We were speaking vaguely about it, and in the Christian way, when I was growing up, we were talking about Revelation, and the preachers would be hellfire bent on it, and there's like certain symbols and signs that have to happen before Judgment Day, before Jesus comes and takes us. And you acknowledge that you guys Islamically wait for Jesus to come too. But what are the same signs that Christians have that Islamically? I mean, are there certain things that have to happen? Like in the Christian faith, they would say there has to be certain disease. This has to happen. That's going to kill mankind. There's going to be a war. There's going to be certain things that we don't have a clue when it's going to happen, but it kind of gives you the window that we're getting close to the end of time, so to speak.
Well, there are several things that need to be clarified. Number one, when we talk about Judgment Day, this is not in this life, not now. It is after everybody is gone, dead. And it is...
we call it the rapture, or the Christians.
It's way after that.
Okay.
So what you're referring to is more the end of times. What are the signs of the end of time?
Yes.
And what we call the hour, the time when the world ends as we know it. For that, yes, we have major signs. One of them is the return of Jesus. Now, I want to remind you that as in Islam, we don't believe that Jesus is God or Son of God. So we don't believe his return is, as you just were alluding, that in Christianity he's going to do the Judgment Day. To us, he's just going to return to finish his mission as a prophet, okay? And we believe he's going to teach people about his nature as a human being, as a prophet. He will teach them about God. He will teach them from Islam, from the Quran. He will teach Islam, basically. And will pass away and will be buried like everybody else. And way after him, there are other signs that would happen, such as the sun would rise from the west. In other words, the earth would switch movement. Instead of the way right now it goes from west to east, the earth will start going the other way from east to west. So it appears to us the sun is rising from the west rather than rising from the east. And there are major signs like that preceding the end of time. The end of time will have a lot of cosmic events, stars blowing up, planets shattering, you'll have earthquakes, you'll have a lot of natural disasters, major natural disasters, completely different from what we experience right now. And then literally everybody would die. And then there's this waiting time between all people are dead and when God decides to resurrect people to life, called Resurrection Day, and then gathering them in one spot, and then starting Judgment Day. Judgment Day is the day when all humanity is there, from Adam and Eve all the way to the last person born, in one space, and God is there and judging them. And Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, Abraham, Noah, all these prophets are part of humanity, and they will be judged like we will be judged. But we expect that they will pass with flying colors because they do a great job. And only God has that authority and right to judge everybody. Some of these signs, some people predict the minor signs have appeared already. The changes in our world are predicted and prophesied in throughout the centuries that they will come, and they're already here. Now there's this feeling that the major signs are expected to start, the return of Jesus and so on is very near, that would happen.
Well, you were telling me about Jesus returning Islamically, but in the Christian faith, they believe that Jesus is going to come, and they call it the rapture, and take everybody to heaven, and there'll be people left behind that are not believers of God.
No, we don't believe he will do that. He would come as a human being, again, like he came the first time, will teach and would correct people's wrong understanding about him as Son of God or God, and he would prove to them that he's just a human being, and he would teach the people the truth, and then he would die himself, and there will be people after him. The Muslims would offer funeral service and bury him, before anything called rapture or the destruction of the world. Now, we don't believe in people left behind or people going straight to heaven. There's an intermediate step, which is everybody dies, and then for an unknown period of time they will be in that death situation, and then God will resurrect everybody. Nobody would be left behind. Everybody will go home back to God. And that's what we always say when we bury someone. We say, we came from God and we'll go back to God. So we're going home. And nobody would be left behind. Everybody will be standing in front of God, will get their one-on-one meeting with God and be judged by God. And it's up to God to be completely merciful and forgive them. And it's up to God to, punish them. It's his business. There's a mention interesting in chapter 5 in the Quran where God will ask Jesus on Judgment Day. He would say, did you tell the people to worship you and your mother? And he would say, no. I only told them to worship you, O God, as only God. And I was a witness upon them when I was among them. And then when you took me away, you were watching them. If you choose to punish them, they are your servants. And if you choose to be merciful to them, you are the mighty and the wise. So it's up to you. And so no one, not Muhammad, not Jesus, not Moses, not Abraham, has authority to pardon anyone, to forgive anyone, to intercede. It is strictly each one of us in front of God.
Well, we're on the same point as far as the judgment aspect. I believe that Christianity and I believe Jews kind of might be on the same part of being judged. The tribulation and the rapture, I think we're a little small different religiously, but I do understand what you're trying to say and how you said that. I appreciate that. If you guys have any comments or any messages, please leave them at the end, and look forward to seeing you again, Muhammad Masri.
Thank you.
Thanks. God bless.